Welcome to this CAMS training module. To get the best viewing results, please select the settings icon and choose 1080p, and then click on full screen mode. In this training module, we're going to show you how to generate an assets report within CAMS. The assets report is useful for when the control room needs to retrieve an account's asset information and provides a snapshot of what devices are installed out on site. This would be useful information, for example, if a service technician needed to know what type of alarm panel has been installed, how many zones have been created and what type, and who the contacts are at a specific premises. In that case, CAMS allows the control room operator to quickly generate an asset report that includes all that information and then email it immediately to the technician. So to get started, double-click on the CAMS administrator icon, enter your admin login credentials. The CAMS Admin Center menu will now appear. Let's start by clicking on the Reports icon, which will launch the CAMS Report Generator. To create an Assets Information Report, click on the Information tab and select Asset Report from the Report Type drop-down. If you wish to customize what appears in the asset report, then you would deselect Listing Only. However, in most cases you won't need to do this, as the information provided in the Listing Only report will fulfill the needs of most situations, but we just want to show you how you can add more details if you need to when generating your report. So by deselecting Listing Only, we can select or deselect what information you do or don't want included in the report. For example, you can include expanded information for contacts, users, zones, and installation details. For this report, you can leave the Sort By drop-down at the default, and down here you can choose what type of header you would like added to the top of the report. In this case, I'll select Control Room, so the control room's details will now appear at the top of the report. You can leave the online-offline output date range at the default setting for the asset report, and now we'll select the asset. To find the asset, you can search for it either by number or by entering the asset name. Then select the asset that you want to generate the report on. You can choose to include sub-areas. Sub-areas are set up via the alarm panel and are generally used only in larger sites where there may be multiple floors or a large number of rooms. There are no sub-areas in this site, so I'll leave it deselected. And now you can click to create the report. So here's our asset report. Just as a side note, all the information that you can see generated in this report was entered into the Assets section of CAMS. If you want to know how to add an asset and enter the details shown in this report, then please refer to the tutorial module entitled Adding Assets. So here's our asset report, and as you can see at the top right is the control room header. It also includes the account code generated by CAMS, the site name, the bureau details, the type of asset being commercial supervised, the date the site came online, and the last time the asset information was updated. It also includes the site address, and if scheduled times have been set up, these would also appear. The scheduled times, in this case office hours, are used by CAMS to generate time-specific alarms such as early to open and late to close. And as you can see, the alerting detail is provided on the right-hand side. So for example, alert late to close is set to yes, and the report also tells us that the late to close time window is 30 minutes. At the bottom of this page, we're provided with the patrol company's details, and as you can see, they have an agreement to be on site within 20 minutes. Let's now go over to page 2 of the report. Here we're given the site contact details. Now, because we had earlier requested the report to include full contact details and the PINs and passwords, these have also been included. And as you can see, the regular out of hours and exit times of the relevant people, such as cleaners and other contractors, would be listed here. Below that, we can see the list of zones. These are the locations where movement detectors, such as PIRs and other sensors, have been installed. And any relevant details are also provided on the right-hand side. So in this instance, one of the sensors is labelled with the event type of fridge, which will alert if the temperature exceeds predefined thresholds. At the bottom, under installation details, the asset report tells us what type of alarm panel has been installed, the panel format type, and the phone number that the alarm panel is reporting through on. Over to page 3. Service details. Check period. This is how often CAMS has been set up to check all types of signals from the alarm panel. Here we can see that the asset has been set up to check signals every 24 hours. If no signal has been received within a 24-hour time period, then the monitoring center will receive an alarm notification via CAMS, and then the CAMS operator will follow up to investigate the problem. If service event has been set to yes, then that means a service email will be sent to the control room's technical email address and also to the bureau, depending on how you've set that up in CAMS. Test check period. If test 1 is enabled, this will check for test signals only from the alarm panel. It will disregard any other types of signal, and test 2 checks for test signals from add-on devices such as GSM or GPRS devices. Scheduled service. This displays the installation date and if some sort of service agreement has been set up and the frequency of on-site service calls have been entered into CAMS, then they would be displayed here. And a reminder email is sent to the bureau for each scheduled service call. In this case, there is no service contract as yet, so obviously there are no scheduled calls listed. General notes. This would include any permanent and practical instructions related to the site. So for example, if there was a guard dog on premises, the report can advise of this, which is useful for, say, a on-site technician, or if the customer premises is a gated facility and entry is not possible without the customer being there on site, this would be useful information for either the patrol or the police. And up here you can choose to print, email, or save your asset report.